Rain Brown has broken her silence after 4 years to discuss her father, Billy Brown, and her revelations have shocked and saddened her followers. The intensity of her feelings shone through in every word she spoke, but one particularly terrifying statement stood out. He was enveloped by its allure. To what did she precisely refer? The way of life? What about the stress? Alternatively, something much more confidential? While Billy was alive, Rain was forever overshadowed by his legacy, withholding the burden of a loss that she has never completely divulged up until this point. Rain opens up about her loss in this rare and moving moment, showing the unimaginable impact of her father's death and why things aren't looking good. An American family bereaved. For a long time, the Brown family had shown perseverance by surviving in Alaska's wilds without modern conveniences. As their escapades in the Alaskan bush unfolded, viewers peeped. A show that follows their unorthodox way of living. It was tragic nevertheless. In February 2021, after enduring a seizure, Billy Brown, the show's protagonist and patriarch, died at the age of 68. His untimely demise rocked his loved ones and the show's loyal audience. In a statement recognizing Billy's life and work, Discovery Channel praised him as an innovator and an inspiration. The tragic news was shared on Instagram by Billy's bear, Bear Brown. Tragically, our beloved patriarch Billy Brown passed away yesterday night following a seizure, as he wrote. "We are devastated to hear this news. He was not only our spouse, but also our best friend, father, grandpa, and friend. His absence will be deeply felt." Both the family and the show were left hanging after Billy's death at the end of season 13. Can the Brown family continue without the man who started it all? Would the Alaskan bush people be able to carry on without their protagonist? As the family worked to put their lives back together, these questions hung heavy in the air. Amy Brown, Billy's widow and new matriarch of the family, was the nerve center of it all. Amy took over as head of the household, sharing duties with Billy, despite her own life-threatening struggle with lung cancer. In an interview, Bear spoke about his mother's resilience, saying that even though he had sobbed many times, his mother had been the rock for their family. As time passed after Billy passed away, the Browns found solace in their labor. They were faced with the monumental job of restoring their North Star Ranch in Washington after it was severely damaged by a wildfire. As a family, they decided to commemorate Billy by carrying out his wish for a self-sufficient Brown home for generations to come. Another health concern surfaced, though, right when the family was getting back on their feet. 2 big tumors were found in Amy's ovaries in 2022. The revelation served as a sobering reminder of her past struggle and the persistent health issues she endured, even if they were thankfully not malignant. The Brown's struggles were clearly far from finished, yet she kept standing firm anyway. The fate of the Alaskan bush people was a topic of discussion among fans. After season 14, the program went on hiatus, and many were curious about its potential comeback without Billy. The weight of Rain's remarks, which had before called him, had increased. The family's tough fayade had begun to reveal signs of weariness, whether from the physical demands of living in the bush, the mental burden of their reality TV fame, or something more personal. Their grief had left an indelible mark on them, and the world could finally see it. Billy Brown's enduring impact. Billy Brown did not have it easy or privileged on his trip. He overcame adversity, suffered a loss, and forged a life that went against the grain. Even before he became the head of the Alaskan bush people and patriarch of the Brown family, he was a young child who had his world torn away from him. Billy was born on December 3, 1952, in Fort Worth, Texas. Tragically, when he was 16 years old, his upbringing was irrevocably changed. He was left completely alone and orphaned when a terrible plane tragedy killed both of his parents and sister. There was a time when he was a cherished member of a family, and then there was a time when he was homeless, alone, and confused. At a younger age than most, he had to confront the harsh realities of survival, such as homelessness and financial instability. But Billy refused to let his sorrow overwhelm him. Instead, he vowed to do something. A family founded on love, strength, and togetherness would replace the one he had lost. Meeting Amy Brown was the turning point that finally allowed him to keep his vow. Though she was just 15, he was 26. But they discovered something unique in each other, a thirst for adventure and freedom, despite their age difference and her family's opposition. In spite of everything, they tied the knot, and they embarked on a journey to build a life that was uniquely theirs. Billy had a straightforward philosophy, right from the start. A life unencumbered by the constraints of contemporary civilization was the original intent. In his ideal future, families would be united by their strength rather than the modern comforts of city life, and individuals would prosper through self-sufficiency. Billy and Amy got married and had 7 kids: Matt, Bam, Bear, Gabe, Noah, Snowbird, and Rain. They were determined to make their dream a reality. Billy took them into the bush the day they were born and brought them up there, training them to be self-reliant, value family, and how to survive in the harsh environment. Their lives were incredibly challenging. They endured severe winters when most people would have sought easier comforts, constructed their own homes, and caught their own food. Billy viewed the struggle that others deemed unachievable as the pinnacle of human perseverance. Finding one's life's calling was as important as staying alive. Television producers took notice of his unique lifestyle, which led to the 2014 birth of Alaskan Bush People. The show broadcast Billy's dream to a global audience, enthralling viewers with the unfiltered wildlife of the family. The Browns became household names in no time at all. As viewers saw Billy guide his children through the wilderness, they heard him repeatedly stress the value of family. Life in the woods, however, was quietly wearing them down. It took a toll on Billy's health from years of hard work, bad weather, and lack of access to modern medicine. He had a tough time dealing with persistent breathing problems, cardiac problems, and growing exhaustion. Doctors told Billy his body couldn't take it anymore, but he was too stubborn to give up the life he had worked so hard to create. He wanted to do all in his power, from living to dying. His degeneration became obvious in the latter seasons of Alaskan Bush People. The audience witnessed him fight through his fatigue, gasping for air as he persisted in his efforts. Even though his loved ones begged him to slow down, Billy was unmoved. He was determined to see his dream through. Then, as expected, something happened in February of 2021. Billy had a deadly seizure at the family's Washington property. It came as a shock, broke my heart, and was expected in many ways. The icy words spoken by Rain would turn out to be true in the end. It eliminated him. To what did she precisely refer? Billy Brown's legacy to his family is a guide to fearlessly navigating the environment, even in death. If he had children, would they continue his work? The Wild Children. Each member of the Brown family dealt with Billy's death in their own unique way, yet they stayed close as a family in their grief. Some saw it as an opportunity to continue his work at the ranch. For some, it meant forging ahead on uncharted territory. Matt Brown, the eldest son of Billy, was one of the most talked about relatives. After 8 seasons, Matt left Alaskan Bush People, despite being a major character in the show's early seasons, due to his struggle with alcoholism. He went public with his troubles in 2016 when he checked into rehab, a move he later justified as crucial to his well-being. Matt kept fans informed about his life and his thoughts and experiences through his YouTube channel, even though he wasn't on the show. His path was fraught with difficulty. He left Alaska for California and set his sights on sobriety and self-improvement. He confessed in an open interview that he had begun drinking to alleviate feelings of isolation, but that his drinking had rapidly become an unhealthy obsession. From a distance, his family rallied behind him, with Amy specifically wishing for his happiness. Prior to contemplating a comeback to the program, "I don't even want him to return till he finishes this," she once stated. "Yet we miss him a lot." Additionally, Matt's siblings expressed their approval. Even Joshua Baum Brown and Rain Brown penned a statement to express their gratitude to fans for their supportive messages, urging people facing challenges with mental health or addiction to reach out for assistance. The second eldest son, Baum Brown, had a new outlook on life after being around the Alaskan bush people. After a brief hiatus in 2017, he made a triumphant comeback to the show. Baum, who was known for being introverted and reserved, discovered peace via photography and traveling. The 90-Day Fiancé and True Life field producer, Allison Kagan, was another woman he dated. Their romance, which started when she was working on Alaskan bush people, took a surprising turn when they bought an ancient ferry and restored it together. It was a surprising decision, though it had to be an expression of Baum's independence. Fans often speculated about the future of his relationship with Allison, even though he and Allison had not tied the knot yet. Some even went so far as to suggest they get married so Amy could have more grandkids. Noah Brown, on the other hand, had already done that. Noah, the youngest son of Billy and Amy, wed his lifelong sweetheart, Rain Alicia, in 2018. Elijah and Adam were the couple's firstborns. Even Noah's family life was frequently featured in his social media posts. He had been known as the family go-getter thanks to his interest in technology and do-it-yourself projects. But word got around that Noah was thinking about going back to Alaska. After spending so much time in nature as a child, he yearned to share that experience with his own children. Because of this, many in the Alaskan bush began to wonder what would become of him. Would he stay in Washington with his family? Or would he decide to go his own way? There were changes occurring in the lives of the younger Brown siblings as well. Birdie, whose name is Snowbird, had her own serious health scare. Her ovaries were surgically removed in 2022 due to precancerous lesions. After the operation, she realized she needed to think about